Hello everyone and welcome. In this video, I will demonstrate a community-developed solution for an issue I encountered while integrating Gaia Pro VS with Survival Template Pro Multiplayer using Netick. After harvesting a tree, the generated STP Carryable log objects were spawned correctly. However, instead of remaining on the terrain, they immediately continued falling through the world. In this walkthrough, I will first demonstrate the issue, explain how I reproduced it, and then show the implementation that resolved it in my project. A complete technical documentation accompanies this video and explains every implementation step in detail. Before looking at the issue itself, I would like to verify that the multiplayer add-on has been installed correctly. To do this, open Tools, then Xwizard Games, and finally Polymind MP Installer. This opens the installer used for the STP Multiplayer integration. Here, I would like to briefly show my installation and the assets that are currently imported into the project. As you can see, I am not using the HQFPS asset. Only the standard STP Multiplayer setup has been imported. In the final step of the installer, labeled 5 Done, you can quickly open one of the multiplayer scenes. I will open the MainMenu scene, since it provides the most reliable way to initialize the multiplayer environment. Once the scene has been opened, the installer is no longer required and can be closed. Now let's take a look at the actual issue. To make the spawning process easier to observe, I will temporarily add a debug breakpoint to the harvestable fall behavior script. This breakpoint pauses the Unity editor at the exact moment the carryable logs are spawned. Without this breakpoint, the logs fall immediately after spawning, making it difficult to observe their initial position. Open the harvestable fall behavior script. Locate the spawn items method. Insert the debug breakpoint at the position shown on screen. Save the script. Now let's reproduce the issue. Now that we have identified the issue, the debug breakpoint is no longer required and can be removed. It was only used to demonstrate the initial spawn position of the carryable logs. Now let's implement the fix. To document the implementation clearly, I created a technical documentation for this issue. Open the documentation and navigate to Section 8, Implementation. The documentation explains exactly which code needs to be added and where it should be inserted. Let's begin with the first implementation step. Open the Simple Position Syncer script. Press Ctrl+F and search for public void. Set active state open parenthesis bool, active close parenthesis. Once you have located the method, insert the code from the documentation directly below it. Save the script. The first implementation step is now complete. Next, open the harvestable fall behavior script. First, add the required using directive shown in the documentation directly below using Netick.unity. Then press Ctrl plus F and search for item, transform.setPosition, and rotation open parenthesis item, position comma item, rotation close parenthesis, semicolon, insert the new code from the documentation immediately below this line. Save the script once again. The implementation is now complete. Let's verify the result. As you can see, after applying both implementation steps, the issue could no longer be reproduced in my project. The carryable logs now spawn correctly and remain on the terrain after harvesting multiple trees. Please note that this is a community-developed solution. It has only been tested with the project configuration documented in the accompanying technical documentation. If your project uses a different setup or newer package versions, your results may vary. I hope this documentation and demonstration help other developers who encounter the same issue. Thank you for watching.